Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I am Gete. The Senate has passed a record 46 bills one day before the end of the 7th National Assembly. The bills were earlier passed by the House of Representatives and had been awaiting concurrence from the Senate. Senators adopted a special procedure on the basis of a motion raised by Chairman of the Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Itainang, and 8 others to push through the bill. These include witness protection, anti-torture, and whistleblower protection bills. The Senate has unanimously approved President Buhari's request for the appointment of 15 special advisors. This was on the basis of a motion raised by Senate Leader Victor Ndumaiba. Senators approved the President's request through a voice vote when Senate President David Mark posed the questions to them. The National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has listed some criteria for the Senate presidential candidate. The NWC of the party rose after a meeting with President Buhari and agreed, among others, that the Senate president must come from the geopolitical zone with the second highest number of votes after the Northwest at the presidential election held on March 28. The meeting, it was further lent, agreed that the next Senate president must not have any corruption charges hanging on his or her neck and should be one of the most ranking senators in the current Fourth Republic. The senator who attended the meeting told a correspondent that the meeting also mandated the executive members of the party to, within 3 days, present a consensus candidate for the post of Senate president based on the listed criteria. During the inauguration of the 8th Senate, the 2 gladiators currently contesting the office of the Senate President are Senators Bukola Saraki, Kwara Central, and Hamid Lawan, Yobe North. A serving and re-elected member of the House of Representatives, Sheik Abubakar, is dead. He died in the early hours of Wednesday in Castina following a protracted illness. A 1-minute silence and prayer was observed for the repose of his soul at Wednesday's session. President Buhari has requested the approval of the Senate to appoint 15 special advisors to assist him in his functions as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The President, in a letter addressed to the Senate President, David Mark, said his request was in accordance with Section 151, subsections 1, 2, and 3 of the Nigerian Constitution. That's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take a break. Please stay with us.
Women share the most amazing thoughts on national issues, and they do it passionately.
For most men that are educated, that are exposed, will see nothing to it.
The population and the level of poverty made me cry. No infrastructural development whatsoever. And you tell me Lagos is working?
That was an accident, and it was a one-off thing. Other than that, there has never been any situation in Nigeria where a Nigerian attacked anybody just because of where they came from.
Sharing the adorable word of women in politics every week, only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. Now, do not forget that you can also catch us on our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News, on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, that's youtube.com/CoreTV with a space news. The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has promised to flush out bad elements from the police force. He made this pledge shortly after decorating 14 newly promoted senior police officers in Abuja. Arase maintained that the only way to ensure adequate policing across the country is to shun acts capable of bringing disrepute to the force. He reaffirmed his readiness to flush out bad elements in the police and charged the promoted officers to take the welfare of police officers and men under the command seriously. Responding on behalf of the decorated officers, Elashina Kimu thanked the IG for counting them worthy of honor. They also promised to work in line with the objectives of the police management team. Nigeria's defense chiefs are to work out modalities for the relocation of the command and control center of the war against insurgency in Maiduguri. This is in the aftermath of a lengthy meeting held with President Buhari on the security situation in the country. Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Usman Jibril, who spoke with newsmen at the end of the closed-door meeting, said the security chiefs gave the president a full briefing on the situation. Samuel has more on the president's first security briefing.
First security meeting under the Buhari administration. They are led by Chief of Defense Staff, Air Marshal Alex Badi. Also in the team is National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki. The closed-door meeting, which began shortly after 1 p.m., ended at about 4:30 p.m. Chief of Naval Staff Usman Jibril confirmed that the service chiefs briefed the president on the war against Boko Haram.
We have just given the general briefing with respect to the general security situation, specifically on Boko Haram. I think with the level of successes being recorded, we want to maintain the tempo and sustain it until they are rooted out of the country. You know, as we continue to put pressure on them in the Sambisa area, they will try to run away from there and then create bombs through the displacement of IEDs, improvised explosive devices. We are sustaining the tempo and the successes that were recorded or we have been recording so far. We want to continue to maintain that. And if there is any suggested solution that requires amendment or alteration of what we are doing, of course, if it's worthwhile, why not? And most especially if you give us intelligence, the better.
To ensure the war is won, the service chiefs have resolved to sustain the level of success recorded against the insurgents. The naval chief also revealed that the military authorities will soon begin to work on relocating the command center to Maiduguri in line with the president's directive.
The command center, where they want to go back and work on it, and then get back to Mr. President.
How long does it take?
No, it shouldn't take too long. It's a presidential directive. We must come back as quickly as possible.
Vice Admiral Jibril urged Nigerians to continue to support the military in its quest to defeat Boko Haram. He maintained that the recent state of bomb attacks on soft targets in the northeast Nigeria is as a result of the ongoing military action in Sambisa Forest. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The newly elected president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has promised to improve on eradicating war and poverty in the continent. Adesina made this commitment while appreciating the governor of Ogun State, Anna Katsa visit. CoreTV News, Olajumoke Latunji tells us more.
The president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has been speaking on his mission for the development of the continent, saying that policies and programs that will pull the continent out of poverty, war, would be vigorously pursued during his term as the president. He made this known in Abuja, the Ogun State's capital, while on a thank-you visit to the Ogun State governor, Amosu, in his office. The new AFDP president called for efforts towards reviving the rural economies through agriculture and its value-added chains, just as a call for the rural integration in Africa to ensure peace and stability of the continent.
We will work very hard to develop programs that will end poverty on this continent and that will lift people out of it and create opportunities for shared prosperity all across our continent. Obviously, I think critical issues of infrastructure will be important. Energy for all is going to be important. Electricity is going to be important. Very critical to build private sector, to create wealth all across our continent.
For his own part, the governor of Ogun State has expressed confidence in the ability of Adesina to make a big difference in his new assignments.
Made us proud. We are happy that this is coming at this time. Indeed, the way they structured the thing is what the same day, really, I think 28, that's 29, so your tenor will be the reference point, really. That's our approach.
The governor further appreciated the former Minister of Agriculture for standing out among his peers during the last administration, which he says is a good sign that all hope is not lost. Olajumoke Latunji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
Boko Haram has dismissed recent claims by the military that it has been restricted to a small part of the Sambisa forest. The insurgent group also insists that it is still in control of most of the towns and villages it seized in northeast Nigeria. An unidentified Boko Haram member said this in a video posted on YouTube, but which does not show the group's leader, Abubakar Sheik. The video was released at the time the insurgents have stepped up their hit and run attack on Maiduguri, Borno State. The unidentified speaker, whose face was covered by a handkerchief, also called the four nations which had been involved in a joint offensive against the group as the line coalition partners. He added that a 4-hour drive around Sambisa forest would prove that the game's reserve is still under Boko Haram control. The video, which bears the logo Islamic State in West Africa, is the first video released by Boko Haram since February, when Sheik vowed to disrupt Nigeria's elections. Nigeria's defense authorities have yet to comment on the latest video from Boko Haram. At least goods and property worth millions of naira were lost in a fire incident at Iyanopaja area of Lagos today. The inferno happened when a tanker conveying petrol fell off the Iyanopaja link bridge. Our correspondent Abiola Oluwole was at the scene of the incident, as reporters presented from our studios.
As Nigerians continue to look forward to sustainable solutions to the perennial fuel scarcity, road accidents involving petrol tanker drivers have continued to be another challenge in the quest towards ensuring the safety of road users. A tank containing 33 liters of petrol skidded off the road at Iyanopaja area of Lagos State, leading to a fire outbreak. The director of the Lagos State Fire Service, Idowu Fadikwe, says it took the prompt response of his men after a distress call from a resident around 1 a.m. to combat the spread of the inferno.
The fuel spilled into 4 different streets, and it has caused a lot of havoc. We engaged on active firefighting operation, and with the help of the public, we were able to quickly douse the fire.
Fadikwe says 44 shops, 17 vehicles and 6 tricycles were raised in the incident.
No life lost, but there were some people that sustained injuries and were treated by Lasambos.
Residents who lost properties worth millions of naira to the inferno laments the impact of the unfortunate incident.
Everything, all my goods, everything burned. I went to market yesterday. All my money, I borrow money, I go market, buy everything, put on yesterday, Monday. In the night, everything burned. I don't sell anything yesterday. I don't bring even pin, I don't bring out. Everything burned.
After seeing the level of damage caused by the fire, Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode condemned the lawlessness of some tanker drivers on the road, while assuring those affected of adequate relief response by the government.
While we're trying to address all that, we will ensure that all those who have lost properties and even lost their shops will quickly find a way to let them get back to their normal business life. Immediately I will receive the report on this fire incident in the next 48 hours, and will ensure that we do something positively so that life can come back to normal here.
According to experts, moving inflammable material through the rail and pipeline are the only effective ways to prevent a reoccurrence of fuel tanker-related inferno across the country. This, they say, will curb avoidable loss of lives and property.
The Federal Capital Territory FCT Special Task Team on City Cleaning and Management in Abuja have arrested 3,000 commercial sex workers in the last 90 days. The FCT Permanent Secretary John Chuku made the disclosure after a meeting with the chairman of the tax team and the FCT Police Commissioner Wilson Inalegu at Abuja. Chuku said the arrest is based on the FCT administration's determination to rid the city of undesirable elements. The sex workers have been handed over to the Abuja Environmental Protection Board for prosecution and rehabilitation. Also arrested were 2,535 street hawkers and beggars, just as 102 stray animals were also removed from illegal cattle markets in Gudu and other parts of the city in the last 3 months. The team impounded 4,790 commercial motorcycles, 883 keke napep, 645 unpainted commercial vehicles, and 84 illegal commercial buses. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, said a notice of application for extradition of Buruji Kashamu to the United States had also been served to the Ogun State Senator-elect. In the application made to the Chief Judge, Federal High Court, Abuja, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation is seeking the extradition of Buruji Kashamu to answer alleged drug trafficking charges. The Anti-Narcotic Agency said the move is in line with the Extradition Act Cap E25 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 as modified by Extradition Act Modification Order 2014. It hinted that the notice of the suit was officially served on Kashamu by the NDLEA on Monday, 1st of June 2015. The trial of Amino Gucci, the alleged mastermind of the 2014 Yaya bus terminal bombing, and 5 others at the Federal High Court Abuja has been stalled. This follows a fresh application filed by the prosecution, Mohammed Idris, urging the courts to try the suspects under the new Criminal Act. The defense counsel, Ahmed Raji, however, opposed the trial of the accused persons under the law. Trial Judge Justice Hamid Muhammad adjourned till June 3 to determine whether the suspects should be tried under the Criminal Justice Act. The federal government has begun extradition process at the Federal High Court in Abuja against Franca Asemota, a suspected human trafficker wanted by the British authorities. She is wanted by the UK government for trafficking minors to Europe using London Heathrow Airport as a transit hub. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission said in a statement that the suspect was arrested by its operatives on Wednesday, March 24th in Bini, Edo State on suspicion of money laundering offences. But checks on Asemota's profile later revealed that she had been on the wanted list of Britain's National Crime Agency, NCA. The suspect was brought to court as part of steps to extradite her to Britain, but her counsel, Ugochukwu Ezekiel, filed an application for bail. Responding, Muslim Hassan from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation told the court that the application cannot be heard because the case was just for mention. 6 central bank staff stand in trial over an 8 billion naira currency recycling scam have been remanded in prison custody. This follows the arraignment by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, before a Federal High Court sitting in Ibadan, Oyo State. The suspects, patients Okoro Eye, Afolabi Olufemi Johnson, Ilori Adekunle Sunday, Kolawole Babalola Olaniran, Adeola and Fatai Adedokun Yusuf were arraigned on a 5-count charge bordering on conspiracy, fraud and stealing. The CBN employees were alleged to have compromised the bank's bequeathing exercise meant to mop up mutilated and faced high denomination currencies from circulation to combat inflation. They allegedly substituted the notes with newspaper prints neatly cut to currency size instead of destroying the mutilated notes. In view of their plea, prosecuting counsel Rotimi Jacobs prayed the court for a trial date and for the defendants to be remanded in prison custody. The defense counsel made an oral application for bail, which was opposed by the prosecution. Trial Judge Justice Ayo Imano, however, adjourned the matter to June 9, 2015 for hearing on the bail applications and July 6 and 7, 2015 for commencement of trial. He also ordered that all the defendants be remanded in Agodi prison in Ibadan. It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take another break. Please stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. It's CoreTV News at 4. Real Madrid have confirmed the appointment of Rafael Benitez as a coach of its first-term team on a 3-year contract. The former Napoli boss replaces Carlo Ancelotti at the Bernabeu after announcing his exit from the Italian side last week. Real Madrid have confirmed that Rafael Benitez is their new coach, replacing the sacked Carlos Ancelotti at the Santiago Bernabeu. The 55-year-old Spaniard was the overwhelming favourite to be handed the role, and he announced last week that he was to end his 2-year stint with Napoli after Sunday's final series, a game against Lazio. Madrid Vice President Eduardo Fernandez then admitted, as before Napoli's 4-2 loss, that Benitez would be their next. And on Wednesday, Benitez finally signed a contract with the BOKOs, which ties him to the Spanish capital until the summer of 2018. Benitez takes over the Bernabeu following the exit of Ancelotti, who was relieved of his duties after failing to win either the Champions League or La Liga in 2014 through 2015. The ex-Liverpool manager returns to Spain after an absence of 11 years, having previously won 2 La Liga titles with Valencia in the first half of the last decade. U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch declined to comment on FIFA President Sepp Blatter's resignation or ABC News, or whether he was himself under investigation. ABC News had reported earlier on Tuesday that the FBI and U.S. prosecutors had launched an investigation into Blatter's presidency and hoped to use those indicated or indicted to provide information that could lead to charges against their superiors, much as federal agents would in a mob racketeering case. The FBI declined to comment against because Blatter has not been publicly identified as a target of the investigation. Meanwhile, Blatter was back at work and at FIFA headquarters on Wednesday as the worst corruption crisis in the governing body 111 years history continued to unfold in the ongoing investigation into FIFA's activities. He added, with ties to the organization to its most wanted list, while South African officials denied they made a $10 million bribe to secure the 2010 World Cup. Russia and Qatar also issued statements about their continued planning towards the respective 2018 and 2022 World Cups. Blatter spoke to FIFA staff for about 10 minutes on Wednesday morning, returning to the same auditorium where he delivered his resignation speech. Though earlier, staff described him as being emotional and said he received a standing ovation. Sepp Blatter rocked the world of soccer on Tuesday by saying he would step down as FIFA president in the wake of a corruption investigation that now includes the 79-year-old chief himself. Blatter, who has led soccer's world governing body since 1998, is being investigated by U.S. prosecutors and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. A person who spoke on condition said late on Tuesday. An FBI spokesman, however, declined comment. News of Blatter's investigation was earlier reported by the New York Times and ABC News. Blatter has not been charged with any wrongdoing. FIFA did not respond to a request for comment on Blatter being under investigation. Blatter, a Swiss national who has been a dominant presence at FIFA for decades, announced his decision to step down at the hastily arranged news conference in Zurich 6 days after police raided a hotel in the city and arrested several FIFA officials, and just 4 days after he was called. Returning from Zurich via Paris, the president of the Confederation of African Football, Issa Yahatu, got to Yaoundé, Cameroon in the evening hours of Monday. Stepping out of the plane, he granted the interview to CoreTV and Cameroon Tribune, which are local media organizations. The senior vice president of FIFA talks on how the FIFA Congress went on and revealed for the first time the circumstances that surrounded the sessions. I heard the news this morning, the same Monday. I was already in Paris when I was told that RFI has declared that I have been grounded in Switzerland, that I did not have to leave. Needless to say that since Wednesday, May 27th, when the Swiss police landed in our hotel, I was not bothered by whoever, neither by political authorities, nor by judicial authorities, nor the Swiss police. I completed the program I had before leaving from here, and I am still following it. Nigeria have been Africa's commanding team in women's soccer ever, present at every Women's World Cup, and are finally hoping to step up and join the list of the tournament's top contenders. The Super Falcons kept up an obligatory African presence at the last 6 World Cups, but made little headway, demonstrating the gulf between their game and the more developed standard of women's football in Europe and North America. But in recent years, the gap has narrowed, and after Nigeria finished runner-up in last year's Under-20 Women's World Cup, there are now hopes Nigeria could be a realistic challenger. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll go outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Now outside Nigeria, former News of the World editor Andy Coulson has been cleared of committing perjury while giving evidence in the 2010 trial of ex-MSP Tommy Sheridan. The Crown alleged that Coulson, 47, lied about his knowledge of phone hacking at the now defunct tabloid. The case against him collapsed after his defense team successfully argued there was no case to answer. Lord Burns then ruled the Crown had not shown Coulson's evidence was relevant in the Sheridan trial. Speaking outside the High Court in Edinburgh after his acquittal, Mr. Coulson said, "I am obviously delighted by the judge's decision today. It was the right decision." Explaining his ruling, Lord Burns told the jury that perjury was the giving of false evidence under oath, which is relevant to the issues in that trial. It said the Crown needed to prove that Coulson's allegedly false evidence in the 2010 Sheridan case was relevant to the issues in the trial, and that was for him as a judge to decide rather than the jury. Lord Burns said that after 2 days of legal submissions, the Crown had not satisfied him that Mr. Coulson's evidence had been relevant. The judge formally acquitted Mr. Coulson on Monday, but the acquittal was suspended and could not be reported until Wednesday morning, while the Crown decided whether it would appeal. And that's our news for this hour. Thank you so much for staying on with us. I am Gift Ogete.